morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is 6:39 a.m. Eastern Time, October 7th, 2017. Alright, that was a little interesting. The second Nate passed through this gap here between Cuba and Cancun, Mexico, it looks like it literally exploded. You can see those big puffs of clouds. I have the satellite image pulled up. It literally looks like a bomb went off inside this thing. It did raise in speed. We are now a Category 1 storm. 80-mile-an-hour sustained winds that will rise. The pressure is dropping. It's at 987 right now. It is still moving northwest at 22 miles an hour, guys. So that timeline right now gives it landfall in our areas, I believe, that are still pretty similar right around here. Grand Isle all the way to Pensacola basically are under hurricane warnings. That's going to be around 1 a.m. Sunday morning, maybe a little sooner for these areas out here. So this is something we need to watch now. This thing has rapidly intensified. We still have 18 hours and some change for this thing to grow, guys. So we need to realize that. We need to understand that we're already at a Category 1 85. The chances of a high Category 2 are still very possible, even higher than that. I even heard in one of the press conferences, they said that they have forecasted a Category 1, but they're planning for a Category 2 or 3. Now, sometimes those are exaggerating numbers, but guys, I would not be messing with this. I would be planning for at least a Category 3 when it comes to this storm, which is no joke. A Category 3 storm is 50 times the strength of a Category 1, just to give you some numbers there. Alright, so we still have our state of emergency in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and parts of Florida. We do have some mandatory evacuations in areas near Pensacola, Florida. I'm going to have more details into that shortly as I put another video together. Again, here's our timeline. 1 a.m. Sunday, it should be making landfall. But again, these areas of Louisiana stick out quicker. So we're talking Saturday night hours still in the cover of darkness, guys. So we need to prepare for that. Anyone in these areas, especially the exposed coast of Mississippi, Alabama, the panhandle of Florida, at least the west side of it, this may still shift. We have 18 hours according to the speed it's moving. And then obviously the southeast parts and these islands here in Louisiana, guys. It's very important. Got to prepare for this storm. It's going to be stronger than they forecasted. We basically knew this. We didn't know how strong it would be, but we knew it wouldn't be a low-grade Category 1, which it is right now, but it still has 18 hours to grow. We need to remember that. The Gulf Coast is warm, and we're going to move on to one more chart really quick. I'm going to bring up the visible chart as soon as the sun comes up on the East Coast at least, so we can get a much more detailed look at this explosion that Nate had. Just check out the water vapor. It literally looks like a bomb goes off in this thing. The second it passes between Cuba and Cancun, it just explodes. Literally, boom, look at that. That's crazy. It's rare that you see that. That's a pretty rare feature. I'm very interested to see what that looks like on the visible satellite. But here we go. Here's another little view of it. See if I could zoom in a little more on this map. This map doesn't tend to want to let me zoom in all the way. That's about as good as it gets on this chart. But just look at that explosion of moisture there, guys. That's what basically gave this thing its spin again, or the I formation going on. That's what you see. You see those big inner storms exploding, and then you see an eye wall form. We are moving fairly quickly, so it's giving it a little bit of a trouble getting that perfect vortex-looking thing, but we're already at 80 miles an hour. We still have 18 hours to go, but very interesting. People are going to be talking about that for a while. I want to get some close views of that so I could share that with you guys. Very interesting. Really quick, here is the Canadian model first. They have Nate nowhere. There we go. Coming up right into a little bit to the west of where projected earlier. So maybe they're talking more of a beeline shot instead of that right hook towards the east. This is why we watch this stuff, guys. You can go to bed thinking one thing and then you wake up and it's a totally different story. Here is the European model. I'll back it up. They're showing more of that eastern hit near those little islands there. There's an island there called Freemason Island. Trying to pull up my side notes here. Near the Mississippi Delta is what we're talking about right here, guys. Here is the Canadian model. Maybe I've already looked at that. NavGem is what we're going to check. NavGem has it a little bit to the west, hitting the panhandle of Florida as well. Mississippi, Alabama, and the Panhandle all get hit in this shot here. So guys, there's still a wide range of ideas going on here, but regardless, the main news is that we are now hurricane status, 80 miles an hour. Expect that number to go up as the day goes on. Once sunlight hits, I will have visible shots for you on the radar. Sorry guys, didn't even have coffee yet, but here we are. It's going to be a long day, and I'll talk to you all very soon.